on my way to Sacramento, and I am at a vista point, probably about 80 miles away from Sacramento, south of it, along what is it, Highway 5 or something? Anyway, Interstate 5 or anyway. So it's been interesting going up and over, some of the mountains and the mountainous regions, and saw one of the reservoirs, which was really, really low. But I wanted to stop for a few moments since I was at a vista point and just kind of show the extent of the drought damage that's here. Because this is a really good contrasting point, and I've been talking to my honey Derek about it, because to me in a lot of ways it's really shocking to see the stark contrast, and let me show you and I can explain that. So this is what I'm seeing a lot of out here in California so far, is a lot of gray, or not gray, but brown land, where grasses just are not surviving, things that just dried out. You have some evergreens out there, on the mountains and stuff. You have trees and stuff that are surviving and so forth. And then you keep on going, you have the highway there, and here you have more trees, etc. And then all of a sudden you start seeing all the farmland out there, and it just stretches on like a swath of green all the way down. So this canal here is the California Aqueduct. It goes between, I don't know, I'm guessing like Sacramento and stuff, and the San Luis reservoir, I think it was. But these are all agricultural crops that you see there, and it's just tons and tons of fields of green. And it's not just green, it's heavy dark green, which means that it's getting lots and lots of water, and you just see more and more of that all the way across. So I guess kind of part of my whole thing is that, they're in a drought and they're squeezing all the water for the crops. And I feel really selfish now, eating some of these crops and stuff, because it's like precious resources are going into it. And if, we're wasting water on crops that aren't continuing to grow or can't be picked or whatever, it's kind of scary in a lot of ways. Agriculture has to change too in the course of things. But, what point are they doing? And I'm not saying that it's just all agricultural issues. I've actually seen a lot of these small farms that are using solar and wind power and stuff to run their pumps and stuff, where they're pumping water out and so forth. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, wow, that's a lot of water. So without all the wind and highway noise, I guess part of my concern with things is just that, we as a society, we're suddenly starting to panic about climate change, and starting to panic about, oh, hey, we're in a drought here in the West, and, and all these other things that are ecological issues. And but as a society, we're so wasteful, just unbelievably wasteful, and we're growing, crops that may or may not be picked, partially because we can't get the help. Americans don't want to work hard labor type farm jobs, and foreigners can't come in because of COVID, or restricted because of COVID, to pick all these crops. So, some of it is just going, to waste. Actually, a lot of it's going to waste. And then, we have what we are able to get and picked and transported and so on. But it's just kind of there's so much planning that's going into, farming and stuff, because they have to decide, are we going to water certain sections? Are we going to try and make sure that we have certain plants planted, and are we going to have the markets for them? Are we going to be able to get things and the workers to be able to pick it and take care of it and so on? And so this is not an easy situation here at all. And the fact is that California feeds a vast majority of our produce, other than it comes from California. It's not just grapes and wine. We get a lot of citrus from here. We got a lot of our greens from here. And yeah, you have Texas and Florida and some of the other states. And then you definitely have the breadbasket states where they're doing corn and wheat and soybean and so on. But it's just it's amazing to stop and think about, to look at this and see the vastness of the resources that are being used to grow these crops. And I have to honestly sit and wonder, considering how vast it is, how much of it is actually getting used? How much of it are we actually growing? How much of it is wasting water for it all? So I don't know. I guess I'm off of my high horse. It just something that for whatever reason it's kind of bothering me, and there's nothing I can do about it at all. But definitely I guess in some ways it's kind of an awareness thing of, hey, that tomato that you're eating, or that lettuce that you're eating, or that pepper that you got, it's very possible that it may have come from here. It may have come from Mexico. It may have come from Texas, or whatever. And this is, if it's coming from areas like this, yes, those crops need to be eaten and so on and so forth, but it's coming at a really high price. And these farmers and stuff out here are concerned about the climate changes and about the drought and so on. But at the same time, they also are trying to make a living, and they're trying to make sure that people get what they want and need and so on and so forth. So, I don't know. It's just really kind of interesting to it makes for an interesting conundrum. Trying to decide at what point are things, what are we doing and how are we doing it, and is everything kosher and so on. But anyway, off my soapbox. It's definitely been really pretty, and I can imagine when it's not in drought, these hills being covered in green and just abounding in life. And it's really sad that right now it's all drought, and it's has a feeling of just being dead. Anyway, on to the next section. So California isn't one for rest areas along the highways, so seeing one, I decided to stop and use the bathroom and get a little bit of rest and just kind of look around to see what else they had. So here's some pictures of what it looks like here. This one is actually under construction, which is interesting. But yeah, here we go. So you have your standard trash and recycling and little picnic spots. Women's on one side, men's on the other. Some info panels, some shade. More bathrooms, women's on one side, men's on the other. And then snacks and refreshments. A little bit of shade trees. Not much for the truckers, unfortunately, but for passenger cars there are. And it looks like the other picnic facilities are behind the construction wall, so I guess those are all being redone or something. Anyway, kind of simplistic, but it's there, and I guess it works. Interesting trees though, kind of pretty. So I am in Sacramento County. About 30 minutes away from my destination with my buddy Felix. And I'm so tired. I'm so tired of driving. It was only supposed to be a 3-hour drive, but of course going 55 miles an hour in what is the state? California, because I'm towing. Oh, it drags it out. So I stopped over at a Walmart shopping center with a bunch of other stuff. I'm not hungry. I'm just tired. I've had 2 Monsters and some coffee and water and so on, and I'm just like, So I'm just trying to take a small break, give myself a chance to recover. What a noisy little shopping center. Highway's been actually pretty busy, but folks have been pretty, decent about it, passing and, when you get off, letting you back on and so on and so forth. Which further south, you didn't see a lot of that. You saw people going just kind of whatever direction they wanted to go in, and that was that. Without giving any care to what other people were trying to do. Anyway, so I just figured I'd do a little blurb, say hi. You can see Wolf in my back window. howling out the window as I'm driving down the highway, watching my other side. Watch the blind spots. But yeah. So I stopped over here at Panda Express to try and get a bite to eat, to try and wake myself back up. Which for the most part kind of worked. Might have just been okay with just a walk, but anyway. So I got all the way to the fortune cookie, which is always the fun part. And it says, your sense of humor is a joy to all. And I had to think about that, and I'm like, okay. Sense of humor is a joy to all. I hope you're all happy and all joyful. Hey there, thanks for watching my journey up to Sacramento. So if you liked this video, please hit the like button and of course subscribe, share it, click the notification bell, and all that kind of fun jazz. And we'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there.